We are here live at the Watering Bowl in Denver, Colorado. You are in the right place at the right time for Shoot Pro Wrestling. My name is Nick Gossert.
My name is Lance Mahars, and I am from Denver.
And we are going to be providing the color commentary, the explanation, guiding you on this adventure tonight, because this is something new. This is something fantastic. This is something never before seen.
We're in for a night of action-packed here at the Watering Bowl.
Because Denver is a town of combat innovation. This is the first place to ever host an Ultimate Fighting Championship, and this is the first place to ever host Shoot Tag Team Wrestling. It's going to be bananas.
And the crowd's pumped. We're ready to go.
And there are some people at home watching this, and they're wondering, what is shoot wrestling? What makes wrestling a shoot? Shooter, these are terms that go back to the carnival wrestling circuits of the late and mid-1800s, when a shoot was a real match. Nothing phony about it. A shooter was a man who could handle himself no matter what. You get the townie coming up to you wanting to challenge the business, the show, the whatever. This is the man who would put that man's butt on the ground, and every single combatant, every single competitor here tonight is defined by that. This is real competition.
And that's what's exciting about it, is it's truly something unique that a lot of people haven't really been able to experience, being in that they're doing something totally unique.
And that's going to play out very interesting, because here in our first match is a triple threat. It's a triple threat, legit shoot, catch-as-catch-can wrestling match, which makes it very strange, because this is where it can be very frustrating. There's very few things in life more frustrating than working your ass off, training as hard as you can, and still losing. But in something like this, you can train, you can prepare, you can do everything you can. You may not even get in the ring because it could be over so fast, you don't even get to participate.
Yeah, and it puts you in a position where you're just, like you said, you put in this preparation, but who knows? The cards are really out of your hands when it comes to shoot wrestling. Rocking the hometown Denver Broncos first Bronco game coming up, so
an easy way to get the crowd on your side, no matter where you are.
Bring them in with that orange and blue. Can't beat that.
And Roscoe Bryant is in the ring. A very interesting young man. This man was just chomping at the bit for competition when I was talking to him earlier. He could not wait to get in the ring. He had the nerves, but only the excitement nerves. The I cannot wait to get in there and do this. He is on the apron. And this combatant was born in Bulgaria, highly touted wrestler. He's been wrestling since he was 14 years old, both amateur and now pro. And, fun note, a vegetarian.
Vegetarian. All right, no pizza, no pepperoni for him tonight.
And another man with a very serious amateur background and claims he has hungry mouths to feed and luck on his side.
There you go.
And I'm very interested to see how he works with some of these people. Roscoe's background is Russian Sambo, which means a lot of leg locks, a lot of unconventional throws and sweeps. Very, very interested to see how the clash of styles comes together with this one.
And we are underway.
I am as excited as anyone can be, because we really don't have spot fillers in this. We don't have anybody coming in with very little grappling knowledge. These are all very knowledgeable men, very competitive men. So when you only have one fall, you have no time to waste.
Yeah. And he goes right there.
Oh.
Goes for the headlock and misses.
Got him down, got the back, but he is not able to get those hooks in. So he's able to transition, getting a good side control, but he cannot get those shoulders all the way down. Because in this type of competition, there are pins, but you have to hold those both shoulders down for a full 3 count.
Takes back position.
They will step over, working on the wrist, but he's still not looking for those hooks. Definitely showing a wrestling background versus a jiu-jitsu background. But he's able to get out. Lack of control.
Great job getting him back to his feet.
You just got to watch those palms. We don't want to see any accidental strikes. It does happen, but we don't want any fouls, don't want any disqualifications. Just good, clean competition. No butting, no hitting, definitely no spitting.
And he keeps going for that headlock and putting him in a bad position where he's getting to his side.
Well, he is definitely controlling the action so far. And he definitely has a bit of a weight advantage, definitely a bit of a side advantage. He does finally have that hook in, working for back control. And one interesting thing with the going for the pins in catch-as-catch-can rules, originally in catch-as-catch-can, there was no ground grappling. It was all on the feet. It wasn't until the kind of Flemish, Germanic wrestling kind of came to Lancashire back in the day, brought the ground grappling into the sport, and that's where we started seeing pins about the 1800s in the English folk style.
And this is where we'll see the weight definitely start to take a toll.
For anybody who's been involved in grappling, one of the worst things you can do is have a big man on top of you eating up every ounce of energy you have.
And he just has total control on the side right there, so he's able to kind of take his time, figure out what he wants to do, and use that weight to his advantage. Right?
And I really wish he would have been able to put his hips down into him a bit more, kind of control him, use that weight as more of a weapon, but he's going right back to that back. He has got one hook in, good control, got it under the arm, looking forward. Oh, he's going for trying to turn him to the pin, trying to turn him to the pin.
And he does have that leg in, which is going to help him get that torque.
And he's going for the cradle. Up, we're on a rope, we're on a rope. That was in the ropes, whether intentional or not. That goes back to a standing position. It is definitely a deduction, but it also can pay dividends when it gets you out of a bad position.
Now, we haven't really seen any opportunities or any strikes going for takedowns. It's been more, there it is. There it is.
Pull for guard, but when you're on your back and catch-as-catch-can, you really have to watch those shoulders. Big difference between the MMA and jiu-jitsu game. For those who are not used to pins, not used to pinning, it can create a lot of danger, a lot of opportunities for you to lose when you thought you were winning.
And here's the tag.
We got another tie-up, and it's going to be interesting because we're now seeing the person who was on the bottom the whole time, the person who was definitely getting worn out throw out that first bit. Oh, and that was absolutely beautiful. He's controlling that arm. He's got a hook in. He's looking to maybe extend that arm. He's going to transition perfectly to side control. Good kick out. That is the nice thing when you have people involved in pro wrestling. That's gonna be real bad for the neck. Going for a legitimate dragon sleeper choke. Up on the rope. We have another stand up. I'm really starting to admire the tenacity of him, because I mean that was really just being on the defensive for a very long time. And yeah, he tagged out, but he never gave up.
He did, and you can see that he started getting a little more comfortable being in the ring, but that weight did definitely take a toll on him.
And when you only have a single fall, a single round, it is a hard adjustment period, especially something like this when we are doing a legit shoot three-way. That really hasn't been done for. You can't really do your research. You can't really figure out the strategy because who's going to coach you on it? Ooh, a lot of good back and forth on this.
Took a shot, no luck there.
This really shows the good balance, those just well-trained hips of very high-level grapplers, and you're starting to see that Sambo training come into place where he's trying to go for those unconventional throws, a lot of times leading into a leg lock, like right there, going for that Victor throw, potentially into a knee bar, but just couldn't quite pull it off.
And this is really anyone's position right here. Working his hips, he can get his head out, he can get back position.
Because that's the nice thing when you were dealing with catch-hold wrestling, which is you don't have a neutral position. You don't have a starting hold that you cannot break. You can grab hold, you can break hold, and there's no deductions based on that. It's all about finishing. It's all about the pin. And here we are at the end of that 5-minute frame. That was a lot of action. I'm very impressed so far. What do you think?
It was a lot of back and forth right there, and I think they're getting comfortable like we talked about, being able to understand each other, see what their positions are, and this is where, I mean, the training will come in to see who's conditioned and start getting out of their stance, start getting a little sloppy with tosses or throws.
Especially when you're only having these, a 5-minute frame, because in a 5-minute frame, it's not like boxing where you come out and you have those first 2 or 3 minutes just to kind of feel your jab out, feeling out the person, seeing how they move, see how they go back and forth. This is all off of a single fall, so you have to constantly be worrying about whether you're going to leave an arm out too long, whether you're going to be thrown in the wrong spot, whether you're going to be put in a bad position and have to go for those ropes. There's so many variables, so many dangers, so many opportunities not just to win, but to lose. Yeah. And these guys have worked very hard just to get here, and they don't want to go home with an L on their mind.
And this is where technique really comes in, but not just technique feeding off the crowd, right? Using that to your ability and to your advantage to, when you are getting fatigued, to still be able to stay in a good position and stay in a good stance to not put yourself in a bad position.
And as anybody knows, whether they're an athlete, a comedian, or a musician, when that crowd turns against you, it pulls the soul right out of your body, and it affects everything you do.
Momentum is a killer.
He's checking the head. Definitely want to make sure he keeps those fingers up. Don't want any accidental eye pokes. Going to a good collar and elbow tie-up. We'll explore the Irish side of wrestling, if you will, if we're going back to folk styles. But he is getting those hips out. He's looking for one of those crazy Sambo throws. Definitely going to be a bit of a going for a scissor, but he's just too big, too strong, too much balance. But he has a good grip around the foot, which does mean that that is a dangerous spot. And he is in the ropes. And that is something where it wasn't a sunken submission. He was hunting for it, but sometimes you get too close to the ropes, and that's just that.
And when you go for those positions like you were talking about, they definitely got to watch where they put themselves in, where they're back.
Because especially with leg locks can be some of the most dangerous submission holds in the game. But if you miss it, if you lose it, if the person slips out, a lot of times you can go from almost finishing of the fight to being in a terrible position on your own, and nobody wants that. He was trying to go for a headlock, throw, headlock, takeover.
Like he's just too big. He's just too big for him to be able to be thrown.
Yeah, it's something where those are the sort of moves you can pull off against somebody your own size, somebody smaller, but unless you have the greatest technique, and that was 3 on the count. That was 3 on his shoulders down. That was a heck of a go. He did his darndest, but I feel like up against competitors of his own size, he would probably be doing a lot better. He'd be having a much better night, but sometimes size difference can make all the difference.
It is all the difference, and I think the difference as well is your setups, right? When you do get fatigued and you get tired and you try to throw a sloppy headlock, you're going to get caught in a position where you're not going to be favorable.
And here we go. Here we go again. You know, we've
Tries to
got
get
Roscoe
the outside
Bryant
single.
again, kind of trying to set up those judo throws, those sambo throws. Not really going for traditional wrestling style, Greco-Roman style body lock, freestyle, looking for the legs. He is definitely going for the hip throws. He's going for the arm throws. He's looking for something like a Victor sweep or a scissor takedown, something that can lead right to it. And he's got it in. There's no out from there. There is no getting out from there. There it is. That was absolutely beautiful. It was lightning fast, and he got him in that rear naked choke, that Mate Leon, or as they used to call it in Catch as Catch Can, the Lancashire hug, and it was beautiful. Oh my God, what a way to start the night.
And that goes back to what we talked about. He tries to throw a headlock, slips, and he puts himself right in a bad position.
And styles make fights. You know, you have wrestlers who are good at the type of throws where you turn your back.
So we have the best of 3 falls coming up.
That's a thing that you don't see in contemporary pro wrestling, especially in America, very often, which is the 2 out of 3. You see it in Lucha Libre, the dos de tres, quite often. It is the standard, but in American pro wrestling, it's rare. But that's how it used to be, because it's like any kind of sport, any kind of playoff, if you will. It's a best of 5, a best of 7, because anyone can win once. But can you win twice? That's the question.
And the crowd is feeling it here now. The drinks are flowing. The mat's stopping. We are having a great time. We are ready to roll.
And then you think about the wild rules sometimes they used to do back during the shoot days, where sometimes it would be a 2 out of 3, sometimes a 5 out of 7. And these were no time limit competition sometimes. So, I mean, these could be matches that would go for hours. Thankfully, or maybe not thankfully, we don't see that here tonight because we don't have all night.
Yeah.
So it's going to be quick. It's going to be action-packed. Still going to be a 2 out of 3.
Now entering the ring, we have the bearded lady. Right? Standing at 6'2", 202 pounds, professional wrestler. Miss kiss if she win, or you might kiss if she might win, right?
And definitely a self-described fashionista. And despite the more carnival gimmick involved in the match, that is a very strong man with very strong grappling background, taking on Damian Malice, another collegiate wrestling national qualifier, great pro wrestler, and let's face it, another great hairdo in the ring.
Like I say, that's a tough dude in the dress right there.
I think when it comes down to it, any man in a dress is tough in America.
To be able to pull that off. So we are ready to go.
And I love that they're doing something with a little bit of flair, a little bit of style, in a legitimate grappling match. Let's take it back to the old, the old carnival days. Let's put a little showbiz razzle dazzle to make the locals go wild, because that's what's happening now.
And the crowd is loving it.
The crowd already on the side of the bearded lady, and who couldn't be with panache like that?
Flair, Nick, flair.
A mixed reaction, but still a passionate reaction, and that's all you can ask for in a sport like this.
We are ready to roll.
And so this is a singles match, and like we said, it is 2 out of 3 falls. We have very few submissions that are not allowed. If you're going to be going for small joints, you cannot go after a single finger. You have to grab all the fingers. Oh,
Great
and we got a
takedown.
great takedown right out of the gate. Controlling from the side. Oh, just using his hips perfectly to maintain position. That's a great way to make sure your opponent has nowhere to go, nowhere that can go, and they're right where you want them as he's switching to a north-south position. He's trying to push him off. He is doing his best, but that is a hard row to plow, if you will.
And there's a lot of energy when these wrestlers are in here and they're trying to go for that headlock because, again, that headlock in a lot of positions puts you. Oh, we got a mount position.
Oh, had to go for a rope break. Fully understandable. Because the ways to win in here is the 3-count pin, the submission hold, or forcing a rope break when you're caught to get out of things. That's why we do have these variables where if you're tangled in the ropes, that's a lot different than if it is a rope break. Still a warning, still a deduction, but win by submission, win by pin. Don't strike, don't headbutt, don't accidentally poke in the eyes. No spiking on the head, so if you're throwing somebody from a weird position, you do have to be careful, so you don't want to get disqualified for doing that. But I feel like everybody here is on the same page. Oh, switching over for a foot. Oh, whoa, watching the hair there. Got to be careful on that one. But he was starting to hunt a foot, looking backwards maybe for a toe hold, but he went to the ropes before he could be put in danger.
Now, the bearded lady's got to watch that shot. That was an amazing takedown at the beginning.
And that's another thing that could be very demoralizing. Right out of the gate, being taken down clean, big, with a big slam, a big boom, and the crowd going wild. It may not hurt, may not take the wind out of you, but it does kind of affect the psychology of everything you're going to do afterwards.
It really sets the tone for the whole match.
Oh, he's actually showing a good sprawl here because that was a very good takedown, very good single, but he is stepping over, looking for a half mount, maybe pushing forward for the first full mount.
And you can see the wrestling technique that's just coming in for him right here.
Oh, 100%, because wrestling is in many ways a game of inches and explosions. It's like being taken down by an alligator. It's going to just pop out of the water and grab you, hold you, pull you back, and twirl you until it's done. And that shoot was like a crocodile sucking a deer right back into the river.
Straight back in.
He's going for a crossface, which will create a little bit of space.
He got some ropes. So great job of recognizing where he was in the ring.
He is showing good ring awareness. I mean, he really doesn't seem to have a lot of defense, a lot of offense. You know, he's kind of holding on, but this is his first match. This is his first catch-as-catch-can rules competition. And no matter how well you train, how well you think you're prepared, until you actually get in there and do it, you have no idea.
And again, wrestling is one of those sports that the conditioning and the fatigue is one thing that you can have great technique, but if you can last and be in there with your conditioning, that's one thing that will take you to the end of the match.
And that's something we saw in the early days of the UFC when high-level collegiate wrestlers started getting involved in mixed martial arts, and just their athleticism, their explosiveness, their grappling conditioning. Coachable athletes are always going to defeat martial artists because of that, because if you have that explosiveness, that muscle twitch, that conditioning to be able to go for hours upon hours upon hours, unless you're on that same level, you have nothing to counter it.
Technique cannot compare to conditioning, is what we always say. He goes for that outside single again.
Oh, and he's got that leg hooked. He is trying to set up. He's clearly hoping for that guillotine for a second, trying to go for the move that made Evan Lewis famous, but no such luck. And now he's in full side control, tangled and holding into the ropes. So we do have a rope. Yep, still in the rope. Are we going to be having a restart? Yep, there we are. So we're going to bring that back to neutral.
And that's really saving him right now, is keeping him on the edge of the ring. And I think you got to realize that he's like, hey, I'm getting beat in the wrestling game. Let me keep myself to the outside to use that as my advantage to be able to get back up.
Because this isn't a boxing ring. This is a wrestling ring. It's 18 by 18, which is not a lot of room, no matter what it sounds like. So one throw puts you within arm or leg's reach of the ropes. It can save your neck, save your arm, possibly save the match. But it also can lead to a lot of frustrating restarts if you are being very aggressive, much like Damian Malice has been all throughout this match, because you get the guy right where you want, and then suddenly it's a restart. Get him right where you want, and then it's a restart. And hopefully that doesn't affect his psychology, make him feel too aggressive, and possibly make a mistake.
And for Damian as well, as we come to the end of the round, just like you said, that is frustrating to be able to take those shots, wrestle, but then right away you're right at the edge of the rope.
And here we are. We've got a 1-minute rest period. A heck of a lot easier for the athletes than it used to be, because once upon a time in the old catch-as-catch-can days, the pro wrestling days of the late 1800s, both in England and America, you would wrestle until there was a fall. That could be 2 minutes, that could be 2 hours, and then you get a 20-minute rest period and have to go out there and do it at least once. That's how you would have these matches like Evan Strangler Lewis versus William Muldoon that would go hours upon hours, competitors like Theobald Bauer versus William Miller, who would literally wrestle until the venue owner gets tired and turns the lights off, and they have to come back again and try again the next day. So this preserves the competitive spirit of catch as catch can and early professional wrestling, but it kind of puts some urgency behind it. So we don't have to deal with the slog. You don't have to deal with that 2-hour headlock because they know the clock is ticking, and it's ticking fast to the win or the loss.
Here we go, round 2.
Now we're going to see how that conditioning plays in for both these athletes.
Well, they're both staying in a really good stance, which is good for them, especially when wrestling right now has been the predominant position. I mean, not too many shots, not too many headlocks, but it's a lot of upper body and trying to get in control to be able to take that back.
And one thing I do want to talk about is how both competitors decided to compete shoeless. Because when you do have shoes on, it does give you a little bit better of a grip for shoots, for wrestling-style takedowns, freestyle. Gets you a better, pivot point for throws if you're a judo man. And also can be a little bit dangerous because it makes you a little more susceptible to foot and leg locks. But when you have one man wearing shoes and one man not wearing shoes, oh, that was very close and very impressive on behalf of the bearded lady to get out of there when you have a man like that on top of you. Oh, switching it over to a gator roll, possibly going for a choke. Oh, now he's sinking it in. He is looking for that guillotine, and we're on the ropes. We're on the ropes. All right, he has to let go. He was looking for that stranglehold, looking for that front guillotine, but he could not quite get it. But back to what I was saying, when one competitor is wearing shoes and the other is not, what can happen is foot stomps, whether accidental or intentional, or a dreaded accidental kick from the shoes or the boots into the toes of the opponent, which will pop those toenails off like nobody's business. So I'm glad everybody's on the same footing, if you will, for this one.
I like what you did there, Nick.
Oh, I'm ashamed of myself for that pun, but there will be worse to come. Definitely got to be careful looking for that hair. We got that arm extended. Oh, goes down for that single, just changes levels. That is so beautiful. Almost as beautiful as the bearded lady.
And it's a disadvantage for the bearded lady because when they take that shot, instead of trying to go for that wizard and get his hips out, he drops to his butt, into his hip right away, which just automatically puts him in a bad position.
Yeah, we are seeing the grappling and experience, the wrestling and experience of the bearded lady, just because everybody gets caught with singles, everybody gets caught with takedowns at one point or another, but it's about how you react to that dictates the rest of the match.
And instead of sprawling, like we said, there's not really too much sprawls. It's straight drop to a hip, which is really easy for Damien to be able to switch sides and finish that takedown. Because
it's not like a dropping or pulling to guard like an experienced jiu-jitsu player. It's not, going for your hips, opening up your legs, trying to keep control. It's just sitting down, giving them all the leverage in the world to sweep around, switch around, and get a better position. And here we are, still kind of in the tie-up. I mean, I do have to admire the balance and the poise, if you will, of both competitors because, you have somebody like Malice who is very aggressive and very good at pressing forward and switching to the angles just to be able to, keep an ounce of control and an ounce of defensive energy, if you will, is impressive, especially off of a first match.
And I think now it's about just kind of gaining control of the match a little bit. Damien is in the position, Malice, like we said, he's taken control of the match. So gaining takedowns at this point is just really, extra cake on top of where he's at. Now they're going to break him and bring him back to the middle.
And that was a very interesting tactic to try to defend against that single when he was turning away from it, where he was trying to, instead of doing a traditional crossface, was clasping around the face of Malice and trying to grind that blade of the forearm into his eye socket to try to put a little painful pressure on him to get him to move position. Didn't pay off in the big picture, but it did show some in-ring creativity.
And you can definitely start seeing fatigue in both wrestlers now.
Fatigue and frustration.
Frustration for sure. Shots are not as clean as they were in that first round.
And frustration can very much, be a cause and a result of fatigue because, again, you keep taking somebody down, you are dominating, you are winning across the board, but every time you're kind of picking up steam, every time you're about to get into the position where you can really get to work on the offense, you end up in the ropes. A rope grab. Oh, and there's an interesting thing. He's going for that. Oh, he's going for that standing Kimura. He's going for that standing Kimura. That can be very dangerous. Anybody who saw Sakuraba versus Henzo Gracie can attest to how dangerous that move can get if it's fully turned over. He got. So we got a restart there.
And again, fatigue can lead to desperation, right? Once you start getting tired, you're not going to be wanting to throw those. You're going to try to take shots or take chances that you normally wouldn't do when you're at the beginning of the match.
And also, you'll get, like we keep talking about, it's easy to make mistakes when you're tired. During my competitive years in jiu-jitsu and submission wrestling, there were many times where it was, a double elimination tournament. You go back out, even though you won, you lost, and then you have to go back out yet again. And you got nothing in the tank. You have nothing to offer. Your entire toolbox might as well not exist because you have nothing mentally or physically to bring into the ring for that last frame.
And during these breaks, it's it's game plan time. Going to coaches and seeing what's working, seeing what's going to end up getting you the win in this match. So we'll definitely see. I think this is where a lot of heart comes into it as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's coachability and just that pure competitiveness of the soul. It's that thing that you really can't teach. You can't teach heart. You're born with it or you don't have it. Nobody can really learn that killer instinct, that do or die mentality. That's just how you're born. That's how you are as a person. And I think we're seeing a lot of that right here. But on the other hand, this is where you need to know how to listen to your coaches. This is where you need to listen to your teachers, to your seniors, the people who have been watching your strategy, because you don't always see the ins and outs, the angles that you are presenting in the competition. So here we go. We'll see how they recover. We'll see how they listened and see what they bring for the third.
And I feel like the longer that it goes on, the advantage and momentum is going to swing a little bit to Bearded Lady, right? He's understanding that he's been able to hang in this match with him when right off the bat it was a takedown straight to his back. So.
Because it's not just a competition of skill versus skill. It can be frustration versus confidence.
Exactly.
And I feel like we're starting to see a little bit of that. I mean, Bearded Lady is in many ways very outclassed in this match. But there they are, still hanging, still on their feet, still able to frustrate Malice with takedown defense and, not able to, really give them the opportunity to finish the fight. Yeah, there have been takedowns. There have been throws. There's been an amazing slam. There's been some submission attempts. But it just constantly ends up pressuring Bearded Lady into the corner, which is a natural instinct for a fighter. But under these type of rules, you're putting them right into a position that you cannot finish the person in.
And that standing Kimura, for him to be able to get in that position, that shows right there that he's not out of this.
Oh, 100%. That is one of those positions where whether it's luck, whether it's skill, that was a potential fight-ending move right there because that is a very dangerous position. That is like the Japanese-style catch wrestling, Carl Gotch to Sakuraba and everybody in between. Very dangerous, very dangerous.
So right now I really feel like it could be anyone's match. I mean, Bearded Lady has his hands on his knees showing fatigue, but they're still going at it, and they still seem to be in a very good stance.
Well, I feel also Bearded Lady is learning as they're going because, yeah, the crouch might have been fatigue. It also might have been realizing I got to crouch down. I got to make, because, Bearded Lady is a taller competitor. Bearded Lady is the bigger of the two in the ring. And as any wrestler knows, when you start crouching down and making yourself less of a target, especially for those upper body locks that Malice seems to love, it creates a lot less targets to be taken down.
There we go. They're trying to get the crowd into it.
And that crowd energy can be the deciding factor. It's about who gets re-fired up, who gets their adrenaline, who gets their confidence flowing once more in the ring. Because we're quickly approaching the end of the third here, and these are already two very well-conditioned people.
And we talked about Bearded Lady gaining confidence, but it's got to be the opposite or the other way around, right? Start a match for Damien to be able to get a takedown, but now it seems like he can't really get in those positions like he were to get those easy outside singles.
Yeah, we're starting to see the weight advantage, the size advantage, and the strength advantage is starting to come into play over the clearly superior technique. But I will say, not great strategy that Malice has had, because Malice is having a hard time keeping things in the middle, because under these rules it's kind of like for the 90s MMA fans like myself what Pancrase was for the Japanese style shoot fighting, where all of these rules came from when it's in a ring, because you have to keep the action in the middle if you're on the offense. And we're starting to see another great setup for that shoot-style Kimura, because he's got the grip, and he's got it extended. Oh, he's got it straightened out. He's got it straightened out. And this is not good. Oh, he slipped out, but we're still in the ropes. But every time you get almost caught in a submission hold, it's like if you're a video game, your red bar is doing fine, but your blue bar is going lower and lower and lower. Because every time you get your arm stretched out, that's making you feel in danger. That's sapping your confidence. That's sapping your ability to fully operate with your attack plan, because now you see this person has enough defensive to put you in danger, like serious physical danger.
And it goes back to the last match that we talked about. Now it's kind of really do or die. It's make a move, or it is going to end up in points, or it is going to end up out of your hands, and not either in a definitive win.
And nobody wants that. Like, especially something like this, there is nothing more inspiring than watching a great finish at the end of a grueling war. And there are very few things more disappointing to the combatants, even the audience, when it's a grueling war that ends on points, ends in a decision. I remember watching fights like in UFC 4 with Dan Severn on top of Hoist Gracie for almost 20 minutes before that triumphant triangle choke got slapped on. Oh, and we have a pretty tight-looking guillotine.
He doesn't.
He's got to watch his step. He's got that guillotine choke, but he doesn't have his hips in the right position to really make it dangerous. Oh, and that's what it was. And that's the thing with these catch-as-catch-can rules. A submission hold that in MMA or jiu-jitsu would be possibly a game ender can quickly be turned around by just putting their shoulders on the canvas.
And that's just great wrestling right there. That's a great match.
And I am not going to pretend, I am not going to lie. I gave Bearded Lady very few chances to make it this far in this match. Because keep in mind, first competitive grappling match, first competitive catch-as-catch-can match. So this is somebody who, despite being a very physical person, a much larger person, a very strong person, does not have the grappling background that Malice did, and was able to use that size and strength advantage perfectly.
And I think you could see that as the match started.
And if you are going to make an entrance to some music to get the crowd's attention, this is an excellent choice. Let's hope that he knows how to touch these opponents as well as he knows how to touch himself.
Trying to tear the shirt off, having a little struggle there. He's gonna have a little help from his buddy. There we go. There we go. There it is. Let's go. Ready to take his corner. Here we go.
So I'm looking forward to this because we already saw our first, possibly even the first ever triple threat shoot wrestling match. And here we are with the second of the night. The first one was an absolute barn burner, a clash of styles, a clash of sizes, of body types, of wills, of strategies. So already this experiment is a success. I'm hoping this just sets the pattern for the rest of the night.
And a huge challenge for these wrestlers, right? Because when you're going one-on-one, you get a little time to understand what that wrestler's doing, how they're reacting, and where they're going to go. But when you got another opponent in there and they get tagged in, it's a whole new game. Now you got to adjust to this other wrestler. You got to adjust to his style. When you start get comfortable and trying to figure out maneuvers and techniques for that guy.
Yeah, it could be as different as, taking a big scoop of ice cream, then, brushing your teeth, and then drinking a glass of orange juice, and then following it with a jalapeno pepper. Like, you have to be used and ready to all these flavors that are going to contrast and possibly ruin your night.
Yes, sir.
And if there's a better nickname than the Night Pigeon, I have never heard it. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt with 14 professional Jiu-Jitsu wins and has medals in 8 different states, all for different promotions. But we'll see how those Jiu-Jitsu skills translate when there are pins involved.
I love it, the Night Pigeon.
And you got to admire the confidence of a man who walks out with the most vanilla nickname possible, the martial artist.
The martial artist.
Okay, that might be better than the Night Pigeon. The muscular octopus wins in my
So we
book.
have Night Pigeon, muscular octopus, and the martial artist.
And the muscular octopus is an undefeated MMA fighter, state Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, 2-1 professional Jiu-Jitsu record. So this is just going to be straight fire top to bottom. And they do not even feel each other out whatsoever. Going right for that knee bar, right for that knee bar. He's able to slip out of it, but he is not out of danger. He's going for the heel hook. Oh, and that was fast, and that was clean, and that was beautiful, if not brutal.
Octopus out.
All right, once again, going down low. He goes immediately to drop for that sweep. He's going for that almost Bravo-style sweep. I used to love doing that one myself, but he gets hold of that neck. Oh, he's got something cooking. He's not even bothering going for those hooks. Is this just going to be a power move going for that neck?
Oh! He is close.
Oh, he gets out of it, but that was a lot of pressure on his neck, a lot of weight on him. He once again drops for that half-guard sweep, trying to cook for something down there. It is a good strategy against a big man, especially if you have the skills to back it up.
And if you're not used to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, then it really can throw you off your game for someone to just go straight to their back right away.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel like most grappling competitors at this point are used to that, but occasionally you just get one of those crazy grappling wizards that'll just drop for that half sweep, drop to guard, and pull something crazy before you even can get your balance.
And if anything, it can throw off a wrestler, right? If that's their go-to, you're used to not wanting to go to your back. And when you have someone that's right away dropping down and going to your back, you want to stand, you want to shoot, and it puts you in a position because right away your legs are wide open for opportunity.
Exactly, especially in that last match when you see somebody who hunts for leg locks that aggressively. Because if somebody drops low, goes for those half-guard sweeps, goes for a scissor move, trying to get that foot between your foot, these are things that are so counter to literally years and years of grappling competition in your own world, but now you're in somebody else's.
But the thing that has the advantage for Night Pigeon is his size. So when he does go down and drops, it's not good for the martial artist because he's putting himself in that position to have all that weight on him and his back exposed to the mat.
Exactly, yeah, because we do have to take into consideration the 3-count pin is just as dangerous as a submission hold, and when you drop to guard, it puts you right into that. You start hunting for an armbar, you start going for a rubber guard, you start hunting for a triangle, you put yourself into that pin position, and that can throw off every bit of strategy you had for what you were trying to accomplish.
And again, that weight is everything on you. Just draining you, having someone on top of you like that, putting you in a position where you got to fight off your back.
But he's doing great so far. He's already got one man out. It is down to these two. And it's just a matter of whether he's going to be able to pull some technical wizard stuff out from the bottom, or if he's going to come up with a bigger strategy, or if the big man's just going to wear him down and power is going to be the name of the game.
And you can see that. You can see his advantage of his weight and his strength. Again, when he drops down and tries to take guard.
There we are.
That's where
he's defending it a lot better on this one. But yeah, he's got the head. He's pulling him in close, crunching his legs in, trying to make sure he is not able to extend that leg. But then here we are again with a leg extension because, this could be very dangerous. I do not like the look of that. He got to the ropes, so he had to. That was a smart move because. And now it's going to be a question of how much torque was put on those joints. He got out of there in a hurry. He was clearly very, very worried about that. And once you get your legs taken out, your legs chewed up a little bit, it makes this a much harder game to win.
Now for the night pigeon, when you see him in his advantage, when he's dropping down, what makes him not want to just stay up on his feet and not even want to go play his game?
That is a question I would love to have an answer for, because sometimes it is easier to just stand up, make the person spend energy popping off their butt, popping back up. Yeah. Make them play your game. If somebody has a strength, you never lean into their strength.
He has a great lock. That was close.
And this guy is fantastic off his back. He has nonstop movement, nonstop submission attempts. Very good at positioning himself to not have his shoulders on the ground. He has finished off one man with a leg lock, nearly finished him off. So honestly, I would try to keep on my feet. I would make him play my game. I would try to, put him in a better position, go for throws. I don't know his skill set. I don't know his strategies, but this is simply what I would do if I were in there, and I'm often an idiot and make bad decisions.
And this really reminds me of the UFC fight between Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir, right? Brock Lesnar was a bigger guy, pounding him. But Frank Mir took his time, was patient, and was able to get him in that leg lock. And this is what it reminds me of right here is patience is the key for the jiu-jitsu guy.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where it comes into play, because it's hard to have patience. People don't understand how quickly and how eternally 5 minutes can go by in a grappling match. Because, once again, it comes down to strategy. It comes down to your ability to relax. It comes down to your explosive power. It comes down to your grappling endurance. Because some people will be checking the clock after 30 seconds. Some people need 10, 15 minutes to really implement their strategy and wear a person down. So you really have to put your strategy to the round time to really make it dance.
And I guess it depends on what the match, where you at in the match, right? When you first start, the emotions are flying, the intensity is there, and before you know it, the round's over.
And these two guys are doing what the men in the previous match should have been doing. They are keeping things in the middle. They know the rules and the strategies clearly much better, because they're not trying to force each other to the other side. They're keeping things away from the ropes, because they know if they catch a hold, they catch a limb, they catch a pin, and it's dead center, there's nowhere to go but home.
There's nowhere to go but home. And potentially with, some pretty big injuries if you're not careful with those torque on those knees.
Oh, yeah. Everybody likes having two arms. Everybody likes being able to look left. You got to protect your limbs. You got to protect your neck.
Yeah, here we go. And again, we keep hammering it, but fatigue is really going to play a factor in here, especially for the smaller opponent.
And he's doing a good job keeping that cradle, keeping his head between the arms. Really good way. He's. Oh, yeah, there we are. He is sneaking under there. You do not want to let somebody sneak under that way, because there's so many cool sweeps to do, just like that one. But he does have that arm. If it's like you're turning me over, I'm taking that arm home with me. But he was able to keep torquing it, try to use it into a sweep, but he's got the power behind it. Oh, and he's on his back. That's the problem sometimes with submissions. It's submission over position, and if you lose the submission, you have no position. Going for the hooks. He's got the hook in.
He's got to watch himself.
He's just got to be a little bit patient. He's got all the time in the world right now when he's in the dominant position, but very good defense. He's able to get to a turtle position, hopefully able to get back to his feet. But this is a very dangerous submission fighter on top of him. We'll just have to see.
And he has those legs in, which is really a big advantage for him, especially being a smaller guy, right? When you have those legs locked in, you're able to control that guy without so much energy or so much power.
Yeah, you solidify that position. And he's able to figure for that. We'll see if he's able to escape out of that. But that compression on top of that, when you get that leg across the abdomen and you squeeze it, it takes away your ability to take big breaths. I don't know if you know this, but you need a lot of air to fight.
He is looking great on top right now.
He's switching over to that S mount almost.
And this is really the first time that we've seen him be on top position.
Yeah, he's been on the bottom the whole time, but he's worn his bigger opponent down, or it's just through technical mastery. But we're not seeing a lot of action from the man on the bottom.
And in wrestling, you see that a lot, right? When wrestlers start getting fatigued and start getting tired, they'll throw the legs in because they know it's a safe position.
And it's just a matter of whether he's going to be able to defend and ride it out to either a restart. Oh, it's off to a restart. That was a very strong move, a very smart move to be able to get back to his feet and hopefully try again to get into that top dominant position. But again, he really hasn't been able to do much with that outside of that arm crank.
And we'll see if he wants to start to kind of play
Ooh,
that. And now he tries to take his back.
And you can definitely tell fatigue is starting to become a factor when you go for desperation moves like a leg scissor, trying to go for more of a sambo thing. He is slowing down. But one man who is not slowing down is going for that knee on stomach, switching back over, spinning around. He is just all over the place.
There's those legs again.
Yeah, he's got that body lock. He's still not really being able to get a good position, but he's just outclassing him top to bottom with that positioning.
He understands anytime the night pigeon on bottom is trying to make a move, he knows exactly where to put his body in it to counter it.
Because some people in these type of matches and grappling matches kind of will constantly sacrifice their position to try to go for the submission. And a lot of times you lose that submission, well, suddenly you're in a bad spot. That was kind of the whole kind of Pancrase mantra, was submission over position back in their early days. But here's the thing. If you are a master of position, the submission will appear eventually.
It will. And that's where patience comes in. Being able to know that, hey, my guy is going to make a mistake because he's getting tired. And when he does, I'm going to take advantage and put him in where I want him to be. But he's got to be careful here.
I am so impressed with his balance to be able to maintain the top, just the flexibility, the balance, the hip strength he is showing, just like floating over him. Oh, but then we almost got
that cradle.
But then he pops right back out to his feet. Oh, pretty much shoves him down like a schoolyard bully looking for some lunch money.
And you can see that he's tired because he only has those little bursts of energy, right? He tried to get up, go down, and then he's right back to the position he was. And
he's doing the smart thing. He is controlling, going for that wrist, trying to just pretty much take away all his tools, while again he's just making these little adjustments, little moves, so it leads up to a big explosive moment, and it really means something as opposed to just being a scramble with no real strategy behind it.
And it's also mentally draining to know that you're the bigger guy, but you're not able to do what you want.
Oh, absolutely. Anybody who's been in the jiu-jitsu world, the submission wrestling world, the catch wrestling world, the amateur wrestling world, there is nothing that takes the confidence out of your heart like a man with, you have 50 pounds on just schooling you like nothing.
And you cannot do nothing about it. That is mentally draining for sure.
That was so impressive. These three ways have actually been completely dynamite. It was a concept that once again, I'm not going to pretend that I saw everything coming to be as cool as this, but it was, however, fantastic. This was a great concept, great execution.
The martial artist takes it.
I don't think anybody thought otherwise. There was very little doubt, unless somebody slipped a judge a 50 or 100, that decision was going any other way. And I am not advocating bribing a judge in a combat sport, but if you do, go high. Never try to lowball them. Want to do, because like we've talked about, the energy of the crowd, the confidence that the crowd can give you with their reaction. Why not get that party started, get that energy up, so that crowd becomes behind you. They're going to boo the people you're fighting, cheer everything you do, and that confidence, that energy can make all the difference.
All the difference in the world.
And I love the Dudley homage with the glasses coming in. And these matches are 2 out of 3. We're back to 2 out of 3 falls for the rules, which is going to give everybody plenty of opportunity to do what they do best in that ring.
Now, when I asked you your favorite tag team of all time, I love that you brought that up. That was one of my favorites. It's the Dudley Boys.
Oh, and here comes Joe Barton coming out. Mr. Easy Lover, a great professional wrestler and a heck of a grappler and a heck of a striker, not allowed during matches like this. And already in the ring we have William Perez and Jeremy Hastings. P&T is the name of their tag team. But now we're seeing somebody who knows how to do a little bit of the old razzle-dazzle, put the show in show business.
Whoa! He is ready to go.
And Joe Barton, former number 3 lightweight heavyweight in the All Armed Forces Combative League. He was part of the 8th Army Combative Champion. Blue belt, no-gi, just an amazing grappler all around and a hell of a lot of tenacity. And here is a man, I'm going to have a hard time being neutral on this one. This is one of my best friends in the whole world.
So here he comes. He's coming right behind us from up top.
Oh boy, and he's making he decided to make a big entrance, sneaking behind all of us, making his entrance, wrapping around through the crowd. Another man, in pro wrestling, he is the Mad Showman. In legitimate wrestling, he is the Limb Reaper. This man is 6'1", 233, 4-time IBJJF national champion, 4 golds, 1 silver. He was a member of Team Punishment. This is a man who is a trainer or a training partner of 4 UFC champions, and a man who steamrolled my purple belt butt in about 15 seconds.
And he is truly a performer and a prize fighter.
He's one of the funnest men to hang out with, but if you look at his arm, you'll see a whole bunch of little sides, and each one is for an arm he took home in competition.
Grand Prix tournament, where the winner will be crowned the first ever Shoot Pro Champion. Introducing first, in the corner to my left, from Cleveland, Ohio, standing 6'1", weighing 208 pounds, Anthony Santiago, and his partner from Houston, Texas, standing 5'11", weighing at 265 pounds, William Perez. They are 100% P&T.
And Santiago, another man with very great accolades in the grappling world. He's a brown belt in BJJ, an IBJJF world medalist, a Pan Am medalist, and he's just happy to be here, according to his bio.
Strangle, the Limb Reaper.
Strangle is definitely a crowd favorite.
From North Memphis, Tennessee, weighing in at 220 pounds, standing 5'10", Gio.
And these are 2 men that before the bell, they're the funnest to have around, and after the bell, they're the least fun to be in the ring with. And this is a very competitive matchup, and I am personally very excited to watch this one. So if I go quiet, it is here cheering and grunting. That's me just getting too much into the match. I apologize for my lack of professionalism.
No fault, no fault. We are ready to rock here at the Watering Hole.
Nice little show of sportsmanship up front. They're just getting right to business. No time to feel each other out because there is a lot on the line. We are going to have 2 men leaving this building wearing championship belts, and nobody wants to be tired in the finals because they took their time in the opening round. So he's in the guard. He is looking for that Kimura. He is hunting for that arm. But a lot of times, there we are. He knew where to keep his, oh, nope, that is the last place you want to be with Chongo on top of you. Yep, it's that easy. Oh, my goodness. I have been in that position with Chongo before, and he actually lasted longer than me. we're going to take the 1 minute break between the rounds. That first one was fast and furious, but we got to obey the niceties, give everybody their 1 minute breather before we move on to the second fall. Best of two falls, dos de tres, as they say in Lucha Libre.
And that was fast.
And getting a very passionate chant on behalf of Benedict Cumberbatch, an amazing young wrestler who was badly injured in a show last week here in Colorado. Everyone loves that man and hopes the best for him. And we're just waiting for that bell. Chongo is biting at the, chomping at the bit here. And here we go. Second fall, a lot of respect being shown up front. These are all seasoned competitors. These aren't just jerks coming in to beat up another person. They know what they're up against. They know who they're in with. They know what's on the line, and they respect each other. And that's one thing I love about this type of sport.
A great tag, again, using the advantage.
And that's something I'm very impressed with is, I love how Joe is keeping him on the arms so he was not able to grab the ropes. That was no. Oh, that was close. That was close. That was so close. But they're under the ropes, so we're going to need to get him out of there. But yeah, it does show the good strategy. If you notice how Chongo made sure that he was keeping his opponent back towards his corner so that the double team move became a lot easier to pull off. Because if you can keep your opponent isolated, they can't get to their corner. They're going to tire out. They can't double team. They have no option but to play the game your way.
Now, what's the strategy here with 100% P&T not bringing in the other wrestler here after the submission so quick in the first round?
It's something where simply he probably was looking at who was the better grappler, who had the better chances against Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu players. And here we are, a nice sweep looking for an armbar, but we're tangled in the ropes, and that goes for a restart. And it's also sometimes you just don't think the strategy of having your opponent as something you need to bring back towards your corner. So if you strategize and you make your entire game plan all about keeping the corner, and that's something that they've been doing very, very well.
And again,
he's down. He's down. He's got the neck. Oh, there's no getting out with a man with a black belt like that.
Tight.
Yeah, he's already looking for the tap.
He's not even close to the ropes.
Yeah, he's not close to the ropes. Chongo's controlling the arms.
There.
Oh, he got the ropes. Off the ropes, off a submission.
Woo.
We're going to get a restart here. But that is a dangerous game to play, a dangerous spot to be in.
And here comes the tag.
And we're going to see how a fresh man goes up against Chongo. He's standing up pretty straight, trying to keep his distance. I'm not sure why he's still wearing the glasses, wearing the goggles. Seems like it could really, negatively affect your peripheral vision.
It's a bold strategy, Nick. Let's see if it works out for him.
A little
controversy here, huh?
Yeah, got to get the crowd reaction. If the guy doesn't want to play your game, you got to make him look bad in front of the crowd. I fully support. He's controlling the wrist, working for this in. Once again, we get him back into the corner for the double team.
And this is where they're really, really taking over the match, right? Using that two-man combination to their advantage to that 5 count. And again, a very
didn't really have the chin, but any pressure on the jaw, any pressure on the neck, it's just going to take a little bit out of you each and every time.
And now the glasses are off. We see a little taunting going on.
Hey, if your opponent's playing defense, if you can't get some offense, be a little offensive.
There you go.
It's going almost for like that tie clinch, going for the 2 hands around the neck. Not good control because he didn't have the crown. Something you always learn if you're going to be doing a 2-hand control on the head is you grasp the back of the skull, not around the neck, as you're then going with the muscles, not against them. We got him in the corner, A lot of risk for rope breaks, getting tangled and going for a neutral restart. And now this match is starting to go on a little bit. We're getting a little deeper into the water because everybody has to remember this is a tournament. They're going to have the winner of this match is going to have another match after this. They're going to have to go out there and compete yet again. So the conditioning is going to become very important. Conserving energy, conserving your strength, and that's a pretty bold move. Is go pulling guard right at that point. We'll hold on the arm. I see where he was going, hoping for a sweep or an easy arm bar, but there are no easy arm bars against easy lover Joe Barton.
Great position from the top, being able to control him and be patient.
Both men are doing great position because he's on top. He's not being too aggressive. He's staying back on his hips so he can't be swept. The man on the bottom is very much keeping off of his shoulders, staying on his side, doing good control for that half guard. So it becomes very difficult to make any advancements on either side.
You see him reaching for the tag, which would be a very great.
Oh, there we go.
Straight to the back.
Oh, I don't want to say saved by the bell, but it definitely, saved him from having to take on the strength. Because even if he wasn't in any danger, holding the weight of two men for a 5 count could be life or death of this sort of thing. So much energy is expended.
It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of time. So as they come down, they do a little, regroup, be able to see where they can go from here. Because you're right, using the corner to your advantage and using that 5 count with your opponent and having your partner there and being able to tag up on them is really going to be the key to the match.
Absolutely. And here we are. We're moving on to the next one. We're moving on to the third. Oh, boy. And like I said, this becomes a game of explosion and of endurance and attrition because we're running out of time. You're running out of time to put a definitive end to this match, and then these men are going to be lucky because they do get a nice rest period before the main event. So whoever wins this definitely is going to be in a better position conditioning-wise than whoever is in the next bracket, or could be the opposite. If their body seizes up, they stiffen up. So there's so many X factors, and that's what makes this so exciting.
And that's the key to this, is realizing that you got a lot of wrestling to do tonight. So the quicker you can get in and get out, the less energy that you can exert is going to be really the key to who's going to be able to raise those belts at the end of the night.
Yeah, we've both been in grappling tournaments before, wrestling,
yes,
jiu-jitsu, judo, and it's, again, beat one man one-on-one. That can be an easy thing or a hard thing, but you know what's awfully hard? Going and sitting down for 10 minutes and then having to do it all over again.
Yes.
So again, we got him working on the back. He is trying to free himself, try to advance on that half guard, but he's got a very good base where he is, and he knows there is a danger of being swept. A man in that position can sweep the heck out of you, just like we saw in that last match. So he's kind of playing it conservatively. He's playing it safely. Just occasionally lean in, put your weight on it, and try to push those shoulders to the mat.
And it just seems like there's not too much urgency when he's in a bad position to get his partner out.
No, and that's the confusing part, because if I was in a bad position, even if I know I'm the better grappler in here, I'm going to try to advance position if it's only just a tag in, tag out.
And it comes back to we talk about saving energy, right? Why sit there and try to fight us off when you can just reach right across, tag your partner in?
Oh, that was brilliant.
Job. This is not looking good.
Oh, if he gets the double grip on that, if he gets that double
That one. He got it.
Nope. Oh, that was it. That was it. It was close, but as far as the ref's concerned, that was a pin. I couldn't get a good angle, but nobody seems to be contesting it.
And again, it goes back to conserving energy, right? It seemed like there was no fight for him to kick out of that 3 count.
Yeah, and sometimes that's inexperience on knowing how to deal with those pins because you're so used to the jiu-jitsu rules. But either way, Strangle City moves on to the finals. Chongo and Joe Barton have won their first match, the all-important first match, and they now get to go back, sit down, strategize, watch what happens in the next match, see what weaknesses they see, what strengths to avoid, and take it from there and hope for the best.
Chongo's just loving it.
Oh, absolutely.
He's bathing in it.
And I think we also have seen that Chongo hasn't competed in a while in legitimate competition, and he showed zero rust. Zero rust in that.
music is everything to getting this crowd ready to go.
Oh, and that's how you make some energy. That is how you get the crowd behind you. That is so, he's got a necklace so shiny, a chain so shiny, every raccoon in the city is getting greedy to try to steal that out of the trash later. And I have to wonder if they were able to see any of the first match, if they were able to take a look in, kind of see how things come together with that kind of competition, get any tips, take any notes that might lead them to victory or at least avoid defeat.
And that is the advantage that they had on going second. Both teams going second.
And here we have with your mom's favorite tag team in the ring. And now we have Catch Cowboys making their entrance. Definitely no way to mix up these two teams tonight.
Catch Cowboys are ready to go.
And some people may be saying, hey, why are you putting so much showbiz, so many pro wrestling style entrances in this? Well, hey, if you want the crowd on your side, you got to earn it, and you got to earn it fast.
Yep. You can only make one first impression, right? And the Catch Cowboys are ready to go.
Yeah, the Catch Cowboys, Brandon the Strangler Ruiz and Josh Star-Lord Leduc. And Star-Lord does make sense. He has definitely got the face to play that part, if only as a stunt double. And here we have your mom's favorite tag team, Jeremy Hastings and Matt Sunshine Smith. Matt Smith was a late replacement in this tournament. He came in today, definitely not unprepared, definitely a veteran, definitely a man ready to make an impact, but he did not expect to be in this ring tonight. And we'll see if that plays any factor in how this night goes down.
And that's going to be interesting to see the chemistry and to see to be able to strategy of how they're going to execute, how they're going to react, and how they're going to work together.
Yeah, because it does seem like the Catch Cowboys, they seem to be a very focused team, a very solid team, a very consolidated strategy team. But these are two men who weren't planning on being together like this, so we'll just kind of see if they have that instant match, that good chemistry, and if they're able to make up for the lack of preparedness with just pure old-fashioned talent and guile.
And you said it best, Nick. You said solid. These guys that Catch Cowboys, man, they are some big dudes. It's going to be interesting to see muscle over technique, muscle over experience, and here we go.
And that's the thing, because in tag team action, there are no weight classes individually, but between the two of them, they can weigh up to 550 pounds. And looking at Catch Cowboys, I feel like they are on the nose of that.
Let's go.
Ooh, and we're right out of the gate per a lot of high pressure. But I do not want to be the man in charge of having to push somebody like Brandon Ruiz around. That is a solid man with some solid balance and some very, very aggressive skills.
And up and down.
Oh,
boy. Goes to the back.
Yep, immediately going for the back. Not able to get the hooks, but he still is maintaining the top position. Oh, that is some impressive scrambling to get back to the feet off of that. And they have broken hold, and we've got a tag, and Star-Lord is coming in.
For both teams.
A lot of respect again. Definitely a size disadvantage for your mom's favorite tag team, but sometimes size isn't everything, like we saw in that triple threat.
Yeah, you're right.
And we'll see whether over the course of 3 falls, we're getting a little bit of gamesmanship, a little cockiness, trying to be a little irritating. Definitely need to watch those heads because, oh boy, butting can be an issue there. Ooh, tried to go with that.
Quick take to the back.
Almost ended up. Ooh,
there it is. Got that leg lock.
Oh boy.
Deep.
That leg's deep, but he's going to have to go for a rope break. He saved his leg doing that.
And another quick tag.
And this is a situation where we are doing 2 out of 3 falls, the dos de tres, and that can build strategy. But it also comes down to the physical aspect of things. Will the big men wear down and the little men pick up their speed? Will the little men just be out muscled and wear down on their front? There are, once again, so many little variables in this game, and one little mistake, one little misjudgment can cost you everything.
This would be a great time for him to tag up and use that advantage for that 5 count.
Yeah, he is. Oh, yeah, that's something I did not consider because, yes, they were right there in the corner. That would have been a great position because you think it's tough having a man that size on you. Well, let's put a man another size on you and have you wear him down even more. Because, again, this has to be something where you have to think, I have to do this again almost immediately. I'm not going to get the rest that Strangle City is going to get. So these guys have to start thinking a little bit more strategy and a little less grandstanding. Once again, we do have some aggressive behavior because we are working on those tie-ups. We are being very active on the feet, but once again, we don't have a lot of time. We are dealing with 5-minute rounds. We are working with a 2 out of 3 falls format. So they're doing a lot of feeling around. Oh, and as soon as I start talking trash about a lack, we have another rope break.
And a quick tag by both teams. So here we go, keeping the fresh guy in.
Yep, we are getting some fresh guys, but once again, we do have a size disadvantage. We are going to see some aggressive behavior. Hopefully we'll be, thinking more strategy for in the ring because they are doing the right thing for catch-as-catch-can rules, which is keeping things in the middle, keeping things right in the middle. But now we're starting to back people back into
and there's a quick tag, and they're going to take advantage of it.
And you notice he quickly retreated, but once this is such a bigger man.
He's got it in
he's
deep.
got that in deep, but he's out of bounds. He's out of bounds, but there was a tap. There was a tap.
He got it.
There was a tap on the butt. And like we've talked about, every time that move gets put into position, if you've ever watched Sakuraba versus Renzo Gracie or Sakuraba versus Hoyler Gracie, he ended up putting arm bars on a lot of Gracies, a lot of Brazilians back in those days. But that shows the effectiveness and the danger of a hold like that with that rolling catch wrestling Kimura, because if you're doing that to a Gracie, that shows how dangerous that is. That shows how unexpected that is. So it's something where you get caught at a Kimura, you don't have that big extension to worry about. It's literally just shifting your thumb from the front of your hip to the back of your hip, and you're done.
And you're there. Yeah, you're in that position. And like you said, it comes so quick. We've seen him take a shot, and before you know it, he was in that position and ready to tap.
So they've maybe learned a lesson, maybe gained a little confidence, but we have the second one ready to go. And they're so excited to get to this. They don't even want to wait out the 1 minute. If you want to know how long 1 minute can be, sit across from somebody whose butt you want to kick and have to wait out that full 60 seconds.
You're ready to go. You do not want to wait.
And there's the bell. They're coming back out. A little bit of respect. These are, once again, very, very competitive men, but respectful men, despite any sort of showboating or theatrics on their entrances. And they are working hard. Oh, he's got that leg, but it's showing great balance, staying on the feet. And now they're going to have to the double team. So we're going to be able to go right for that
right
neck.
To it.
Oh.
Great job of realizing where he was.
Oh, yeah, that was great ring awareness because he went right for that neck, and he hung right on for that rope break.
And that busted him open. As you can see, he's leaking a little bit.
It happens. Those ropes aren't soft, and those blades of those forearms aren't soft. So it's real easy to catch an eyelid, an eyebrow, a nose, a lip on something that's going to tear it wide open. But you just got to put that in the back of your mind. Just think, we'll super glue that shut later. But for now, I got a match to win.
Yep. We'll see how much it does affect him, especially being right above his eye.
Oh, yeah, because it does become a worry, because it can lead to a stoppage.
It does. Tried to go for a quick leg sweep there and was not able to catch it. Now again, they're in the corner. Great job of using the advantage of the tag.
Yeah, they are being very good at getting people getting the opponent into the corner for the double team. They just haven't been able to really do much with it. I don't feel like they went over a lot of strategies for it the way Strangle City did. But once again, even if all you're doing is putting an extra 240 pounds on a man for 5 seconds in a combat sport, that's going to sap his energy. That's going to take his endurance away, and that can pay dividends down the road.
It wears on you.
But now we got a fresh man in, but we're just not seeing the kind of explosive. Not sure what just happened here.
And what's to stop them from using that two-man advantage in the corner continuously from a tag?
There is nothing stopping them. I mean, unless you have a strategy built around it, though, the way we saw Strangle City do. Oh, we got an eye poke here. Oh, that does happen, unfortunately. It's unintentional, and it sucks that it happens. But, oh, boy, that never feels good.
But you see it all the time, right? It's
part
of the sport.
You do, and it's just unfortunate. But hopefully they'll just need a second to get his get his eyes focused, and they'll get back to it. But again, we are seeing a big size and strength advantage / disadvantage in this matchup, and I just don't see a lot of strategy from the smaller men on how to make that work for them. We're not seeing strategies based on, dropping and looking for sweeps. We're not seeing strategies based on going low for those ankle picks. We're not seeing the type of strategy you would need to compete against a bigger opponent with that type of strength advantage. So even though in the tie-ups it is kind of being neutral, we're just not seeing them able to put much together as far as something that'll mean something for a finish or to take the points away for a win at the end. And they're also blowing a lot of energy. I hate reiterating this so much, but after this, they got to face the very fresh Limb Reapers, and they're blowing their energy left and right, dragging this one out.
And you can see the strategy for both teams is not so much taking shots, but a lot of arm drags, right?
Yeah,
a lot of arm drags for both teams.
Yeah, they are very much, even though this is a tag team match, you see them competing as singles competitors in a tag team. They're not thinking as a team. They're thinking as individual men doing individual matches with the occasional tag team. The strategy behind it, just I don't see it here the way I did in the previous match. Not to take anything away from these men, but I just feel like whoever wins still loses because they're going to have blown so much extra energy.
It is a lot of energy exerted. Now we can see them using it back in the corner, and this, again, a great time to use that two-man advantage. Now here it is. There's a tag for himself.
Oh, and a big takedown off. Oh, just put the weight on it. Put the weight on it there. He's able to maintain the pin.
Now see, there's some confusion there because he didn't realize the guy has been tagged for a while.
Oh, and a great reversal.
Watch his neck.
And almost had that reversal. Almost had that sweep. And that type of chaos is just what's allowed during that 5-second count for the double team. It can be very dangerous. You could be sitting on top of a man in the most dominant position. Guy runs up behind you, puts you in a toe hold, and that's that. There's nothing you can do about it. Them's the rules. And here we have a little bit of great offense from your mom's favorite tag team. We're seeing them being able to use that speed to their advantage and going for good positions and good submissions.
And I feel the longer the match goes on, the more that it's going to lean into the favor of your mom's favorite team.
I agree 100% because the big men, they can wear down. They have a bigger body. They're carrying around, I'm going to guess, probably 50 pounds more than their smaller competitors. And the deeper that goes, the more that feels like carrying a backpack full of rocks compared to the guy you're up against.
And you can see the quickness and the agility of your mom's favorite team when they're in there. They just look a lot quicker. And you're right. It seems like a catch Cowboys are kind of wearing down.
And there's still more to go. So we still have more of this match, and I just feel the momentum is shifting. It's shifting from the power to the speed. We're going from the Catch Cowboys with their just very good base, their strength, their power, and then shifting over to your mom's favorite tag team who have that speed, who have that agility, and have been able to look for and grab a lot of submission holds in that previous frame that we didn't see in the first. And I'm going to guess we're going to see a lot more of that going into the next.
Yes, sir.
So even if they're not able to say, secure the submission win or the pin win, there's a chance they're going to be able to pull this out on points and hopefully still have the energy to keep that momentum going up into the finals. But again, this is a catch as catch can rules grappling match, and that means anything can happen and anything will happen. And here we come out for the next round. You know, these 5 minutes, once again, like we've discussed, 5 minutes can feel like nothing when you're trying to put strategy together, and it can feel like an eternity when you're getting tired.
And we're starting to see hands on knees, hands on knees.
And this is why it becomes, tried for a fancy sweep, but he did not pay the price for it. His opponent might not have known what to do with it. Oh, another nice little
that's
sweep
just power
there.
right there.
Oh, that is power, but the power's still there. And we got the double team.
Yep,
but again, they
go.
don't seem to know what to do with the double team. It's just simply a bum's rush, if you will. But he's still being aggressive, but now they're going into the other corner, and they're not trying to double team. They're not going for the tag.
But you can see the agility in him, and that's going to wear down on Catch Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, they are definitely
He is moving
the
great.
momentum. The momentum is officially in their corner. But like I said, I'm becoming concerned because the Catch Cowboys are not using the corner rules to their advantage. They're getting a little bit pushed around. They're being outworked, and they're not taking advantage because they can use their size ×2 to really put some weight on somebody, really put them into a bad position so the single competitor can maybe finish them off. But again, these are two teams that are not competing as teams. They're competing like two singles competitors in a tag team match. This is a hard thing to prepare for. This is a hard thing to practice for because this is the first time it's ever been done. So there's a lot of room for error and a lot of room for growth because everybody in that ring would 100% whoop my butt, whoop your butt, and whoop the butts of everybody watching around the side. They are some tough men, but once again, sometimes toughness isn't enough. Strategy has to come into play. Smarts has to come into play. And you just don't think about one little aspect of the match, and that could be it for you.
And we've seen Catch Cowboys take that first round. Second round, there was really no one who took that. But I think that they really have to have a definitive win on this one. To be able to let it go down to the decision, I think they have to get a fall, a submission, some kind of definitive win for your mom's favorite team to be able to put this in anyone's hands.
And I do not envy the judges if this does go to a judge's decision because we have not seen any definitive point deductions for the most part. We have not seen high amplitude throws where you are thrown where your feet go over your hips. We have not seen rope breaks off of submissions, but we may see one here in a minute because that looks awfully tight. Oh, and out of bounds.
Almost sends him out of the ring.
Good reactions on his side. But yeah, if this does go to a judge's decision, no one's going to be happy with that. Nobody wants to lose a decision that could go either way. So I'm hoping to see something definitive happen here.
You hear right there, 2 minutes, so the time is running down. And he's just too big.
Yeah, it's anybody who's wrestled, anybody who's grappled knows that your best move sometimes just hit a brick wall when you have somebody that much bigger, that much stronger. And now it's one of the first times we've really seen them think as a team going for that double team. But it just doesn't seem like they're doing a whole lot with it or can do a whole lot with it. He was very smart. He knew he was about to be double teamed, so he just stuck his head down and hugged very tightly to not give up his neck or his arms in any way.
Great takedown. That's just pure power.
That was just a steamroll. But now we got a double team, so it becomes meaningless. Yeah, people forget the niceties. People forget the details. Got to be you got to hold on to that rope. It's got to be over the top of the rope. It can't be under. That gives you a couple extra inches, which it cannot be fair. But hey, sometimes we've all wished for a couple extra inches. Am I right?
You're right about that, my man. It's going to be interesting to see if he has any burst left to get maybe one more takedown.
Yeah, because there is not a lot of time, but there's enough time to finish it if you got something up your sleeve. But it just seems like everybody kind of comes from a strategic point of wear them down, suck them down, work on position, not an explosive submission hold, except for that Kimura we saw earlier.
We're coming down to it. I'm probably saying about maybe less than a minute left to see who's going to end up going to the finals.
Yeah, because we do have one definitive, beautiful submission hold fall in all this. But other than that, it's been very close, and it could be argued either way. They really need to watch those heads because they are butting. They are butting quite a bit. We don't want to see anybody getting busted open. We don't want to see anybody getting cut.
There we go.
And that was
what a match.
That was what a match. They win, lose, draw, who cares? These men left it all in the ring. They did not hold anything back. We can see there's a little bit of disappointment on some faces because nobody wants to win or lose on a decision. This is one of those matches where you could make a very strong argument for a rematch at the next show.
Yeah, you definitely can.
And
what Cowboys take
Cash Cowboys move on, but and we've got Ref Izzy back in, ready to go, and we have Ref Spicer on the outside for the second pair of eyes. He was really important to catch that Kimura tap out in that last match. So I'm really glad we are going with the 2-ref format. It's been a long night of competition, and we've seen a lot of crazy stuff. But if there is ever a bit of theme music, some entrance music to reinvigorate, re-energize this crowd after the layoff, this is it. As Strangle City make their way back in.
And again, remember, Strangle City's been sitting for a while.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of how well they've maintained their focus, how much energy they blew, because I'm not trying to discount how their opponents, but they did have a fairly non-taxing victory to bring them into the finals.
Very true. And here come the Cash Cowboys.
And it's always fun to do a little bit of a callback with the strangle, using the term strangle. Strangling was an original part of catch can wrestling when it kind of mutated from up and down wrestling in the early 1800s, where it was the first sport, even though it was an illegal thing as far as like you could go to jail for doing it. But in the sport itself, having somebody in mount, placing your hands around their neck and just choking the life out of them was a completely legitimate move in up and down wrestling. And these guys, I feel, are just excited to be here. So I'm glad to see a little bit of sportsmanship, a little bit of energy. So I'm just hoping everybody's got their focus, everybody's got their energy, and they're just ready to go once the bell rings.
And Chongo's actually enjoying their entry music.
I often envy the amount of fun he seems to have doing these type of things.
He's right there, and here we see it. The belts are in the ring.
You know, every time I had any kind of competition, I would just be sitting there trying to focus, trying not to almost be crying or peeing my pants. This guy comes out just having the time of his life, and I love seeing that, even though I mildly resent it. He's firing up the crowd, getting the crowd on his side. It's like we've discussed time and time again tonight. you want the energy, you want that crowd noise, you want that crowd fire, and you definitely want it behind you, because that confidence, that relaxation, knowing that the people are here to cheer you on and are cheering you on, again, can be the difference between victory and defeat.
And more than ever, especially when your energy is exerted from your last match, you need that crowd to push you through.
So as we're moving into things, I definitely give the submission and strategy advantage to Strangle City. Power, on the other hand, I got to hand it to Catch Cowboys, because no matter how tired you get, skill and power don't go anywhere. And if you know how to operate while tired and lean into those strengths, if you will, even though it is strength, that can mean everything. A little show of respect. We've seen a lot of that tonight, and I am happy as a clam about that. Not sure how happy clams are, but it's just a saying, and I don't know why I said it.
They're pretty happy, Nick.
Yeah, they should be if they're watching this. So we're actually seeing a little bit more respect here, because we do have more time. Calling out for a test of strength pro wrestling style. But we do have a little bit more time with these, because they do 10-minute matches in the championship match. So there is more time to play with it. There is more time to feel the person out, get a feel for what they got, and go from there, because he's putting his weight on Django. He's got that neck. He was trying to turn him, but just no luck. Django does have very good hips, but he did get him down, and he got him down.
Oh, he is flat.
Ooh, that was close.
He's got to get a great count.
Nope, he's got his shoulders down. Oh. That could have been a lot closer if the referee had noticed that. It wasn't going to be a 3 count no matter what, but it was a lot more dangerous.
Wow.
The shoulder was up on the inside, but he's doing a very good job of putting his weight on Django. Django is a jiu-jitsu wizard, but that was a tough one.
That's a quick one right there.
That was good strategy on that part. He did the right thing, just used his weight, used his experience, did not blow a lot of energy coming out for that. And are we keeping the same men on the inside?
And even though Django got pinned right there, there is a strategy to understanding where the ref is when they are calling that pin, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because you got to make sure either the ref sees what you want them to see or doesn't see what you don't want them to see.
Exactly.
There's a reason that's a trope in pro wrestling of the ref not seeing the whatever, gets distracted, doesn't see that, because it does come from legitimate competition. Because if you can get the ref blind to something, and you can sometimes skate past some of the rules just a little bit. You're not breaking the rules. You're just bending them.
Yeah.
It's just line of sight. All right, a little decision on who's going to stay in, who's going to stay out, and there is the bell, and we are on to fall number 2. Keep in mind, we are working inside of a 10-minute round, so there is time to work. There is time to strategize, and we did get a tag. We did get a tag.
Quick tag. He quickly mounts the back.
Yep, goes right for that eye socket. If you notice that, he went for that crank. Right.
His legs are deep.
Yeah, legs are deep. He's got that hook. He's got one hook out. He is rolling with it, and this is going to be the interesting thing to see. Oh, they do it again. They do it again. Right in there, and he's going.
For the leg.
Straight for the leg. Straight for the leg.
He's going for that toe lock.
Going for that toe hold. Doesn't quite have it, and now he's defending it well. Oh, he's in a bit of danger here, but he's got that. He does have a hold of that foot, and if you can crank that foot, it doesn't matter what the body positioning is. Oh, there we are. That is another one.
Tag.
They are doing a great job with those double team moves. And again, he goes right for that crank, right for that eye socket. All right, we got Star-Lord in there. Hopefully feeling a little fresher, hopefully feeling a little more dangerous. Tries dropping back
right
back.
to that ankle.
Oh, but we did go with the rope.
Oh.
And hopefully he's going to be okay. It's the risks you take as a competitive athlete. And this is exciting because we are seeing a tag team crowned. We are seeing champions being crowned. Is this the way they wanted to win it? Absolutely not. Did they do anything wrong? Absolutely not. But they are here. They've got the belts on. They are ready to go for whatever the future holds. And the first thing that I think should be happening is a rematch. I think it's the only thing that makes sense. It's the right thing. Chongo's a good sport. Everybody was leaning on them as the favorites, and for them to lose like this, it's not what they wanted, but they're competitors, they're warriors, they know what's at risk every single time they get in the ring. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes the excitement, the thrill of victory has a little bit of a bitter taste, but bitter or not, they are champions now. They have those belts, and they're going to have to defend them moving forward.
There it is. Well, it's an unfortunate ending, but it was a great night of action here at the Watering Hole.
Oh, absolutely. Here in Denver, Colorado, we have now seen the first tag team shoot tournament. It ended with a title, with titles being awarded. Things are only going to get bigger and better from here. So we will let them celebrate. We will let them have their moment of glory. Though we can take this away from them. But we'll be back next time, and hopefully we'll be back next time.
Yes, sir.
And until next time, I'm Nick Gossert.
I'm Lance Maharez.
We'll see you next time, folks. Thanks for being here.